Hello, Robert Kiyosaki. I'm going to go over Rich Dad 101, why the rich are getting richer and the poor middle class are getting poorer. And one of the main reasons, if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, this is trash. This is the money. And the people that work for this go broke. They're the poorest people on earth. They spend their whole life chasing these things. What Rich Dad's about is this is called cash flow. So the trick is, how do you not work for this, but get lots of cash flow or income? This is trash. This is paper. The trick is that in 1964, I started studying money. I just don't trust my government. That's the main reason. But in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and I was in Vietnam when I was flying for the U.S. Marine Corps at the time. And I realized my government was screwing us. This is trash because I don't care if it's dollar, yen, euro, pesos, yuan. It's fake money. And the poorest people on earth always are going after this stuff versus cash flow. And that's all Rich Dad, Poor Dad was about, is how do you get cash flowing in more and more and more. So like this morning, my dear friend Ken McElroy calls up and he says, I need 100,000. Done. Do I have $100,000 on hand? No, but I know how to get it. That's where it starts. Number one is what happens to most people is they say, I can't afford it. You could be highly educated, they still say, I can't afford it. My poor dad said it all the time. I can't afford it. You got made of money. So that's where it all starts. And then the second thing is then they don't get educated. You know, my poor dad had a PhD, which stands for poor, helpless, and desperate in education, but he never did anything about money. Whereas my rich dad, who's my best friend's father, taught his son and me about money playing Monopoly. And that's education. The word education comes from the words educe. Educe means to draw out. When I played Monopoly as a kid, it drew out the rich person in me. Whereas I went to school, and what they pounded in me was the poor person. You got to get a job. You got to get a job. You got to work for money. You got to save money. And you got to invest in the stock market and all this stuff. That's why people are poor. They listen to poor people. So those are some of the basic fundamentals. But let me say it again. This is trash. All over the world in 1971, this became trash. And the trick with Rich Dad, Poor Dad was how do you get cash flow or income? So as I started off to say, Kenny calls up. He needs $100,000. Otherwise, I can't invest with it. I don't have $100,000 sitting around, but I know how to get it. That's the difference. I never say I can't afford it because that's what poor people say. You want to be poor? Just keep saying, just be my poor dad. Another thing I want to talk about today is the price of gold is going up, price of Bitcoin's going up. It's not that gold's going up, it's this is coming down. So when people get all excited about Bitcoin and all this, I have a lot of Bitcoin. Not that many, but probably 100. But it's enough. But it keeps going up because Bitcoin was designed to keep going up, where this trash was designed to keep coming down. So that's why there's only 21 million Bitcoin. They mine it, it gets scarcer and scarcer and scarcer. Whereas this here, there's more and more and more and more of it. When the economy gets bad, they print more of this stuff. Again, the poor middle class work for this stuff. That's why they're poor and struggling. What you want is something that goes up in value, not down. So I love Bitcoin because of its design. It was designed to keep going up even as this was going down. The other thing I want to talk about is this. You've got to have what's called a foundation. I talked to poor people. I said, how many Bitcoin have you got? How many ounces of gold do you have? None. How many ounces of silver? None. How much cash? I got a lot in savings. That's how stupid people are. This is trash. The more you hang on to this stuff here, the more it deteriorates in value. So the lesson my rich dad taught me was like, here we are in this house here. The floor is concrete. If it was wood, it wouldn't be as stable. So that's why I don't save this. I save gold, silver, Bitcoin. I own gold mines, silver mines. I want stuff that's real. I invest in cattle. Because cattle are real. I own real estate. And poor people invest in this and stocks and bonds and ETFs. Fucking losers. Just losers. They invest in stuff they print. You got to be kidding me. So you should read my book, Fake, on this stuff. The price of Bitcoin isn't going up or gold's not going up. This is coming down. And that's why savers are losers. The next thing I want to talk to you about is about the elections. This thing about free elections. That's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard of. There's no such thing as free elections. Here's a picture of my friend here, Donald Trump. He's now president, in case you don't know. And if you may notice here on his right ear was a patch. That's where the bullet hit him. He and I were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin last year, and we were talking about what it's like to have bullets go past your head, because when I was in Vietnam, bullets were flying past me all the time. In the helicopter, it goes zip, 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 zip. You can hear it coming at you, but you still keep flying. This is Bobby Kennedy Jr., and his father was Robert Kennedy. His uncle was John Kennedy, and they both got assassinated. That's what I'm kind of concerned about with my friend Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's a very brave man. If you mess with these guys with the money, they kill you. It's called the deep state. They will kill you. Most of them are bureaucrats and most of them are criminals. But the thing I love about this picture here with Bobby Kennedy Jr. was that communist, his name is Bernie Sanders. He's a senator from Vermont. So they're trying to confirm Bobby Kennedy for Secretary of Health, and Bernie Sanders, the senator, a Democrat, he attacks Bobby Kennedy, who used to be a Democrat. And Bobby Kennedy said to Bernie Sanders, he says, well, how much money do you take from Big Pharma? Kennedy knows the game. There's no such thing as a fair and free election. It's how much money have you got? If you're poor, you're fucked. You got no votes out there. So you may as well just get rich. When he was talking about how much it costs, this is February 2025. The dates are important. Trump's in office. I like what he's doing. Good friend of mine. We wrote 2 books together, Why One Should Be Rich and Midas Touch. Very good man, very brave man. But the problem is right now, his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is to become the Secretary of State. Cost $100 million. You've got to pay to play. If you want to be Secretary of Education, it's going to cost probably $50 million. Secretary of Defense, this guy X says, probably $100 million. I have no proof of all this, but I know the game because my poor dad ran for office. And once I saw how politics is run, it has nothing to do with the election. It's how much money can you raise. The Cuban Americans hate Castro, so they probably raise a lot of money for Cuban to be Secretary of the United States. So now he's in Panama. I suspect it costs $100 million. So all these guys are running to Mar-a-Lago right now, where I've been with my friend Donald Trump, and they're all coming with money, because it is how much money have you got if you want to play the game of politics. There's no such thing as a free election. So every time you see these politicians up there, how do they enter office poor but leave rich? Insider trading, if a tip from Apple, is illegal from us to invest. But a politician can take insider trading. So this whole game is the reason politics, people want to be politicians, is because that's how you get rich. There's no such thing as a free and fair election. If you don't have money, you don't get to vote. Your vote does not. And that's what I learned with my rich dad, who was my best friend's father, and my poor dad, who ran for lieutenant governor. My rich dad said to me, he says, your poor dad will never be successful as a politician because he's honest. You cannot be an honest politician. So this is my friend Donald Trump here. He knows the game. I'm going to show you how it applies to everything else in the world. So if you just buy 1 Bitcoin, let's say for 10,000 Satoshi or something, and you leave it there for 10 years, you'll be rich. Because Bitcoin is designed to go up, and you get richer and richer and richer. You save 10,000 of this, you get poorer and poorer and poorer. So that's why I said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, savers are losers. Poor and middle class will never get ahead because our schools are taught by communists. Most school teachers are Marxists. You know, they believe in labor unions, they believe in taxation and all this stuff. So you've got to be careful, what you put inside your head, your education. And know to have lots of this coming in, you have to know you can't save it. You cannot save it because this is trash. I don't care if it's dollars, euro, yen, pesos, whatever. The savers are the losers of the world. Well, from here we'll go and I'll show you how campaign donations make a big difference in how much money you make. Because if you don't pay, you don't play. This is trash. But the people who are broke are people who work and save this stuff. And always remember, the price of gold is not going up. What's going up? Debt is going up. So these people who are saving gold and silver and Bitcoin is smart. What you want to do is not save this garbage here. This is trash. I started buying silver and gold when I was a kid. Now I own gold mines, silver mines, and tons of Bitcoin. I have a foundation. The average person has no foundation because they're working on this stuff here. They save this garbage. And the dollar was designed to lose value while Bitcoin is designed to increase in value. You can know those two differences. Again, there's a thing called Gresham's Law. Gresham's Law says when bad money enters the system, good money goes into hiding. Gold and silver and Bitcoin went into hiding. Real money. Don't be stupid. Build a foundation of gold, silver, and Bitcoin and get richer and richer. Watch in this corner here. Look at the buildings. You can look at that building there and that building there, and then that building behind me. What do you see that's different? 2 are 3-story. 1 is 4 stories. That's how much it's worth. Same as this building here. What's that 4th story worth? Millions. Millions. So how did that happen? Campaign contributions. So if you understand that, you'll understand why the rich get richer all the time, because they understand the game of money. And so once again, this is trash. So this building back here, guess how much I have into it? 0. Because this started off here as an old sports club. It was only like $3 million when I bought it years ago. I put $100,000 down on it, $5,000 a month, something like that. It wasn't very much. They took the sports club down. Because of my campaign contributions, I got it zoned for 4 stories, not 3. What is that 4th story worth? That building there puts $100,000 a month in my pocket. That's only $1.2 million a year, but I'm doing those deals once a year. It's going bank-to-bank transfers. I have no money into this deal. It amortized. Somebody bought it from me. They rent the land for $100,000 a month, and I get this money here. This here is trash. What you want is cash flow. I'm always taking trash and investing for cash flow. 1971, Nixon talked a dollar off gold standard. This became debt. United States debt is at all-time highs. I think it's $36 trillion. This is February 2025. We're bankrupt. So don't save this trash here, but start buying real assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, real estate, cattle, oil well. Don't be stupid. Remember, as I said, artificial intelligence, it's a college degree.